to another episode of the biggest transformation, our pilot season, where we are following 7 people, the 7 cast members, through their battle with this thing called weight, this battle. And I say battle because, for any of us that have ever struggled with our weight, it hasn't typically been a one-time thing. It's been a battle for years, for some people, decades. And so we are journeying through this battle against weight with them, watching them overcome, watching their struggles, watching them reform and rebuild habits that have kept them stuck. And so up till today, these 7 people in the last month have lost 153.7 freaking pounds. These 7 people have lost 153.7 pounds prior to today's weigh-in. So we're gonna hop on with them in just a moment. We are going to see how they did this past week, talk to them, talk about their struggles, watch them weigh in. We'll see how they did, and then we're gonna talk about what's going on, how they're doing, where they're doing great, where they're not. Do some coaching. If you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure to do that. Ring that notification bell. If you are watching, smash that like button. We need to get their stories out into the YouTube universe. They are an inspiration, and there's no way you can watch these episodes and not be inspired. We are live with another episode every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So without further ado, let's jump on with the cast, get the weigh-ins done, and see how they did.
Good job, Peggy. 153.8. Next up is Judy.
228.1.
228.1. Good job, Judy. Okay, Andy.
221.0.
221.0. Thank you. Ashley.
217.2.
217.2. Thank you. Good job. Shane.
341.2.
341.2. Good job, Shane. Karen, I'm coming for you. All right, Karen.
187.6.
187.6. Awesome job. And last but not least, Denise. Let me find her. Denise.
281.6.
Awesome.
Okay, so total, up to this week, you guys have lost a total of 175.7 pounds.
Wow.
175.7 pounds. It's kind of crazy. Like we're rounding the 200 mark. Last week, you guys as a group lost 22 pounds total. Let me get back over here and just go through what you guys lost. So Shane lost 5.2 pounds last week. Denise lost 2.8 pounds. Karen lost 2.4 pounds. Peggy lost 1.2. Andy lost 4. Judy lost 1.8. Ashley lost 4.6. And that is the total. Ash, 4.6, girlfriend. Good job. That means last week, Ashley, you were the biggest percentage loser. On a sheer percentage of your body, you lost the most last week just on percentage. Since day one, with a total loss of 30.4 pounds, 10.4% of their body weight is Karen in first place.
Wow.
10.4% of your body lost. 10%. Like you lost 10% of yourself. Sayonara, baby. In second place with a total so far lost since day one of 45.4 pounds, 9.6% of your body, Shane.
Wow. Wow.
45 pounds. Okay. In third place, dang it, I lost my little spreadsheet thing. I didn't lose it, I just took it away. In third place with a total loss of 29.6 pounds, 9.1% of their body. So you're creeping to get back up there again this week. You're making up some ground. Andy, third place.
Yeah.
Awesome job.
Good job, Andy.
Andy, yeah. All right. So that was third place. In fourth place, with a total of 6.6% of their body lost, a total of 20 pounds lost since we started, Denise.
Yay.
Good job.
Denise. Good job.
And this week, making some strides, moving into the fifth place. Coming up with 19 pounds lost since we started, 6.2% of their body lost, Miss Ashley.
Yay.
Going to. She did it.
6.2%. Moving on up. All right. And right behind her, with a total since we started of 17.6 pounds lost, a 6.1% of their body fat lost, Peggy.
Yay.
Congratulations. So Ash was at 6.2. Peggy, you were at 6.1. And with 13.7 pounds lost, a total of 4% of your body, Miss Judy. You got back on the losing train this week, girlfriend. Good job.
Good job.
You made up those 0.3 pounds gain and lost another 1.8. So as a group, last week, 22 pounds lost, 175.7 lost total. I don't know, I'm like, we got to step it up next week. We got to cross that 200 pound mark. So as a group, we need to lose 25 pounds. We need to lose 3 more pounds than we lost this week to cross that 200. So as your coach, that is my goal next week, is that as a group, we would cross that 200 pound mark.
Let's go ahead and chat really quickly about Okay. So what I want to chat to you guys about really quick before we chat with you is I want to talk to you about, first and foremost, plateauing. Okay. Plateauing is a word you'll hear a lot when you hear people talk about dieting and all of that stuff. So when you have 50 plus pounds to lose, you should never really plateau longer than 4 days. Okay. And so if you ever reach a point where the scale isn't moving for longer than 4 days, we need to have a chit chat, because 99.9% of the time, unless there's a medical problem, and 99% of the time there's not a medical problem, once in a while, someone will have an actual medical issue that's keeping them from losing weight, but that is very, very rare. That is very rare. Typically, it's one of 5 reasons why you're not losing weight. And out of those 5 reasons, 99% of the time, it's this one reason. And the number one reason why the scale doesn't move 99% of the time is miscalculating calories, miscalculating containers. And listen, I have had so many of these conversations over the years with friends, family, clients, where they'll say, hey, I'm not losing weight. I am eating under this calorie bracket. I'm eating inside of this container range, but the scale's not moving, or it's not moving. And here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are eating in the 12-ish calorie range or the 1400, you should be losing a minimum of 2 pounds a week. That's what that's based on, is losing 2 pounds a week. And if you're not losing that minimum and you have 50 plus pounds to lose, there's typically a miscalculation going on somewhere. And whenever I end up having these conversations with somebody where the scale's not moving, I typically end up having these conversations fairly regularly, but here's the bottom line. Whenever I have one of those conversations, where someone tells me they're eating under their calories, but the scale's not moving, I go back and say, okay, well, I'm going to bet you're not eating under your calories. And sure enough, 99.9% of the time, when they actually go to measure, when we actually start talking and I say, okay, are you counting your cooking spray? Are you counting butter? Are you counting oil? Are you measuring everything and not guesstimating? Most of those conversations are, well, no, not everything. And what I am going to tell you is there are calories everywhere, everywhere. And so if it doesn't get measured, it doesn't go in your mouth. If it doesn't get measured, it doesn't go in your dish. If it doesn't get measured, it doesn't go on your plate. The only free food you have are the free foods on that list. And that's very little free foods. And cooking spray is not a free food. I know it says 0 calories, but let me just tell you, did anyone read how much of a spray that is after the 0 calories? It's like a quarter of a spray is 0 calories. None of us use a quarter of a spray of cooking spray, and it's oil. Oil is not a free food, and that's what's inside a cooking spray. At a lower calorie bracket, if you're eating in the bracket that says, hey, I want to lose weight fast, and you're not doing that, then we need to have a chit chat, because most of the time, 99% of the time, it's going to be user error. And you should don't take personal offense that it's user error. Be glad that it's user error. Because if it's not user error, that means you can't do anything about it. That means it's just up to the universe and you're just, effed. The good thing is when it's user error is you can actually be proactive and do something about it. So I just wanted to cover that because at some point, what I found is that most everybody I work with at some point goes through a spot where the scale's not moving. If it doesn't move for more than 4 days, don't just hang tight and say, I'm going to get through this. Like, we one-on-one need to have a conversation and analyze what's going on. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, we talked about operating in a gray zone. Okay. And that is eating things that aren't on plan. And last night I was joking around with Karen because she came on the Marco Polo group and she said, yeah, I had a bite of the gravy and I probably wasn't supposed to. And I'm on the, y'all, I wish you could see sometimes inside of my house. I'm on the other end of the Marco Polo going, no, there's no problies. It's not on your plan. No, there's no problies about it. It's not on the plan. Gray zone. Meh. So sometimes I'll hear you guys talking to Marco Polo and I'm like talking back at you like we're like having a conversation, but no, there was no probably not supposed to have the freaking sausage gravy. No, wasn't supposed to. It was not even in the gray zone. It was in the F no zone, according to the plan she's eating on. So my point is, like, it's so funny how we always try to justify, well, I probably wasn't supposed to do that, or I kind of probably wasn't supposed to have that. Listen, we know what our plan is, and we're not in the freedom phase, we're in the focus phase. And during the focus phase is when we focus. But so often, and also operating in the gray zone is eyeballing it. Well, I think that this was about the right amount of cheese. No, our eyeballs are where we're at. So when I started, I had morbidly obese eyeballs. My eyeballs, and as hard as I wanted to have skinny eyeballs, I knew they were still a work in progress, right? So I could not count on my morbidly obese eyeballs to get my eyeballs weren't going to get me to healthy. My eyeballs weren't going to get me to skinny. My eyeballs had been like, oh yeah, my palm, that's a serving of a brownie. Yeah. Oh, 2 palms, definitely a serving. So do not trust your eyeballs. You need to be weighing. And if you're trusting your eyeballs, that's operating in the gray zone. And the gray zone doesn't really produce, grade A+ results. So no operating there. And again, it goes without saying, but I'm going to remind you because I think we all need reminders because we're all still battling old habits, even though we're well into, and this is the great part for you. You are well into the point of creating new habits. But in the process of creating new habits, bad habits still come knocking back at the door sometimes saying, hey, old friend, remember me? No licks, no nibbles, no bites, unless you are calculating it. let us in on your inner Peggy when you're working out. What goes through your brain when you're doing your workouts?
I so many times will be working out and watching them and thinking I'm doing a really good job. And then I glance in the mirror and I'm like, whoa, that's not what I like. So I'm like, shoot. And so, but most of the time I feel like I'm getting stronger. I love working out. Only once in a while, like maybe a day or two this week, I wanted it to end. I just didn't want to do anymore, but that was my head. But typically, I love working out. So I love getting stronger, and I know that I am definitely stronger. And if I can't do something the next week, I can do it. I'm like, yes. So for me, it's improvement, and needing of improvement when I look in the mirror, but that's okay.
And then what goes through your mind when you're working out? Describe that for me.
I actually feel pretty good because I never worked out. I mean, when I crushed my hand, obviously that I was going to the gym, but after that, I never worked out. I mean, I did my treadmill. So I feel like a rock star because I'm doing it and I've done it every day. So I feel good.
And describe what goes on in your brain when you're working out.
So Karen has talked about the devil and the angel. I have them too. So the devil would say, and does say all the time, and said the other day when we were in a stretch, right? We're all doing our stretch at the end, which is an area I've built tremendous confidence over the last 5 weeks. However, I have the mirror right next to the computer so that a full length, yes, I know, what am I thinking? Anyway, full length mirror right next to the computer. And I was going down doing like my, touch your toes, grab your toes, pull them back kind of thing. And I look up and I'm looking at Kat, the girl that modifies. I look at Kat doing this stretch, and then I look over to the mirror, me doing the same stretch. I went, oh my gosh, I look horrible. I look like way worse than Kat. This is horrible. I know that's crappy, but that went through my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, they're highlighting her as like the one that like is out of shape in the group and needs to modify. And I'm like way worse than Kat. So that's the nasty little voice while I'm working out. And then the nice voice has only happened probably this week, where I literally was almost like prancing in front of the mirror when I was working out, like having my own like personal, just like really looking at myself. Usually I kind of avoid looking at myself, but yeah, this was the first week that I started working out and going like, look at you, like, wow, increased my weights. I almost tripled my weight size.
Well, I work out in the afternoon. Mornings don't work well for me because I start early and have some other things I do in the morning. So when I come home, I have to kind of get myself ready. So I do the energize, go through that, and then get myself up to it. So when I turn the TV on and stuff, it's like, oh, it's something that I know I have to do. I'm liking it more. I don't know if I'm loving it yet, but I couldn't imagine not doing it because the benefit of doing it far outweighs just sitting around doing nothing for that period of time.
And what goes through your brain, Shane, when you're doing when you're working out?
So I really like Joel's workouts, but you wouldn't know it if you were listening to me when I was working out with him. Some F-bombs get dropped. Screw you, Joel is a really common thing. And it's usually when so he has like agility parts of the workout, right? So the boxing, sometimes I feel really uncoordinated, which I've always been athletic and I've always had good coordination in my mind. So that's a struggle for me to get the right boxing combinations down, because I tend to like throw a wrong punch or something and I got to stop and reset, you know. So feeling uncoordinated is something that's pretty common. But when he starts doing the jumping squats and stuff like that, I'm always just like, screw you, Joel. On Wednesdays, I've been doing T25, and Sean T, I know you guys love Sean T. I think he's an inconsiderate jerk. I don't like Sean T at all. I really struggle with him. And something that I've noticed about working out, doing T25, is when he starts doing something stupid, I don't say, screw you, Sean. I just say, nope. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I feel when I'm on my game and I learn the punch routine and I stop feeling uncoordinated, I feel tough and I feel like nobody should mess with me, because it's boxing, right? Like I feel like a fighter. I feel strong. So anyway, there's the good and the bad with it.
And describe what goes through your head when you're working out.
Depending on the trainer. I love lifting, so I never hate when I'm lifting. I mean, I just absolutely love the train, when I'm lifting. But I will sit there and I'll be holding my weights, and all of a sudden I'll notice a muscle in my arm that I had not seen before, or my vein is popping up that I haven't seen forever and ever, or that kind of stuff, or sitting up with these heavy weights and I sit right up. And for me, it's a good thing, because it's like, oh my gosh, I just did that. Or now, depending on the trainer, if I'm doing Autumn, I cuss a lot. I yell at her and stuff like that. I'm getting better at it. There's times, especially with Autumn, that it's like, oh my God, when is this going to be done? When is this going to be done? Because anybody that's done Autumn knows, some of the stuff that she puts into it. So like I said, depending on the trainer, yeah, but no, I think I have a lot of positive thoughts when I'm working out, and I'm always excited after I'm done, knowing that I accomplished that for the day, or I went up in weights, or I did a move that I couldn't do before. So that's what goes through my mind.
You're in a sprint right now, okay? And your feet are moving. Keep going. You got 4, 3. Focus on the knee and lower abs. Your hip flexors should be a complete cut.
And describe to me Denise's head, what goes on in between those two ears when you're working out?
Oh, I I this week in particular, there was a movement in 9-week Control Freak where this movement last week already, I was mad as all get out. I was like, this is a horrible movement, Autumn. Like, this is stupid. I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. And I'm twisted in the bands and I'm just like, I'm a total mess. And I'm like shouting at the screen going, this is such a stupid move. And I'm just getting mad. And my daughter on the hallway is like, Mom, but you're still doing something. And I'm like, what am I doing? I feel like I'm doing nothing. So I can be that person where if I don't get the move right away, I can get extremely frustrated very quickly at the screen. But then on the other hand, I was actually really excited when I did that video of myself working out and I could see definition on my thigh and my calf. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I had that. Wow, I'm doing something. All this is actually paying off. And so I actually was really excited that I'm actually starting to see my body forming. Like there's starting to be shape to my body and stuff. So I was really excited about that. And then what I've been noticing is certain movements. I've been seeing like my muscle in here and I'm like, and I can feel it when I'm working. I'm like, ooh, I'm getting muscle. So there's parts where I'm like, I get super excited about what I'm doing, but then there's also moments where I can get like so angry.
We're determined.
All right.
Okay, Judy, what was going through your brain this week when you were picking your goal outfits or looking at them?
I think I was like you in the beginning. If you noticed, I picked some things that were still kind of loose. And I want them, but part of me says, you really think you're going to wear that? So I mean, I would hope as I get better that I pick things that are more form-fitting. But if you noticed, nothing was very form-fitting there.
I did. And listen, like, and part of me is not knowing your style either, but then I see some of the stuff you wear now and I'm like, no, I think Judy's got some form. So, but the part of it's not knowing, right? So if I'm hearing you correctly, you are attracted to some more form-fitting stuff, but it's building your faith that you can wear it.
Correct.
Okay, Andy? Let me.
Okay.
Right, Andy?
Yep.
What was going through your brain this week when you were like looking at, dude outfits, picking a goal outfit, even looking at it? Like what went on in that brain?
What was going through my mind? It looked cool to look that good in those clothes. So.
That's awesome.
That's these clothes models,
No, and you got, I'm telling you, you really surprised me. You've got really good taste. Like everything you picked out, I was like, wow, that looks so good. I could totally like picture you in all of those outfits. And even like the boating one with the belt and the white and yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually not a white shorts guy, but I went with it. So and then thinking too, like getting rid of, like you said, like getting rid of the big stuff. I've done that a few times and I bought it back. So I want to get rid of the big stuff and just start over. My wardrobe is all old, big, kind of stretched out. Probably like I want to be cool. Everybody just get everything new. Just start out small, just keep adding to it. So that would be fun.
Yeah. And what would happen if you didn't allow yourself to buy anything new? If you, like, let's just say you lost the weight and you went and gained 5-10 pounds back, and then all of a sudden you didn't allow yourself to buy any more clothes. What would happen?
Well, this is what happened this time. I was ready to go to the next size up. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So hopefully I'll keep the same mindset. I'm not doing that, and get back on track.
Well, eventually you have to, or you're running around naked.
Exactly. Or your clothes are so darn tight. It's ridiculous.
You'll be wiggling everywhere.
Like, yeah.
There you are. Okay. So what was going through your brain this week when you were picking out those goal outfits and looking at them, looking for them?
You guys know I'm a little vision board crazy. So it wasn't necessarily a struggle for me. What was kind of sad about it actually though was realizing how many times I've done this. So for some of you, you've never created a vision board. And for me, it was like looking through 20 different journals of how many times I've drawn the 100 pounds and go to shade it and put the pictures in it. So it was a little bit like, been here, don't have trouble creating the vision. I have trouble with the follow through, with the not quitting, with the get past 20 pounds. So what went through my head, I looked at my goals this time. Like, what are my top 3 things that make me want to skip the bad food? What are the top 3 things that make me excited to put on my gym shoes and do this stupid workout? And the 3 things that make me jump out of bed in the morning are the possibility or the chance to get a second chance at my wedding dress day, where we've talked about not feeling good in my wedding dress. So it was super exciting to realize that I don't need the wedding. I had a beautiful wedding. I just want that moment with my husband back, just him and I, where I can put on the dress that I want and feel badass and hot as hell and have him look at me in a different way. Like, I don't want him to look at me like, oh, how cute and pretty. I want him to like, damn. And so I picked a wedding dress that matched how I want to feel.
And Shane.
Hi.
Hi. Oh no. Okay, Shane down 45.4 pounds. When you were picking out your goal outfits, looks, what was going through your brain this week?
Why am I doing this? I don't care about fashion. So yeah, it was a difficult task, like I was saying. I attacked it, I think 4 times throughout the week. And I started looking up celebrities at 6'2". And I was kind of surprised at some of the celebrities I saw. I was like, really? They're 6'2"? Anyway, so a lot of them were very trendy and, like skinny jeans and all that stuff that I really hate. So I had a hard time. Eventually I settled on some of the button-up Cubano shirts. There was a shirt I had that I bought in Trinidad and Tobago that I just really loved. And it was just like an Islander shirt. It was like a few buttons up here, and it just was like a flowing, almost like a silk type shirt. And I grew out of it so fast. I think I only wore it like once, maybe twice. And I don't even have it anymore. But I was just like, man, to be able to get back to that and wear something like that sounds really cool. So a lot of those shirts were stuff that just looked completely comfortable, that I thought it would look good in. The button up, I don't even know what you call them, like the Cuban shirts or the polos that you don't have to tuck in because it's cut flat around. I have 1 or 2 of those now, and even at like 380 pounds, I felt like, hey, I look pretty good in these. And it was a good comfort, like, oh man, I don't have to tuck this shirt in, because it's hard to keep a shirt tucked in when you're my height and my weight. But it was like, yeah, those are great. So now when I see somebody that's in shape wearing a shirt like that, I'm immediately like, it could look like that. That looks good. I like that. And then, you know, I stumbled upon Jason Momoa, who I like as an actor. But he looks totally BA in most of the stuff that he's doing. And I was like, all right, stretch goal. I can get there. Like,
Okay, Karen, what was going through your brain this week when you were picking out your goal outfits or looking at them?
I was excited. I mean, in fact, you only asked for 3 and I had like 7, 8 of them picked out. So I love fashion. And so I was really excited to say, oh, I could wear this and I can wear this when I get down here. And so, yeah, so I was very, very excited.
Okay, Denise, what was going through your brain this week when you were picking out those goal outfits?
At first, I was excited when you mentioned it. I immediately went to my computer that Sunday afternoon and I started searching and searching and searching. The weird thing for me is I actually only became overweight after I got married. So I know what it's like to wear small clothes, even though it's been a long time. But back in those days, we were quite poor growing up. So we often wore hand-me-downs or we'd get clothes sewn. So I never got to wear really cute, fashionable outfits. So for me, when I was looking, I had this image of some things I wanted, but I was struggling with the image in my head, finding it. I'm excited and looking forward to the day I can wear those smaller clothes again. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait to go with my daughter and just go shopping and prancing around in these cute outfits. Like, I'm waiting. I'm like, can it just be today already?
Awesome. So we are coming into, thank you guys, all, by the way, for all of your answers. I love how everybody, some of the struggles are similar, but yet we're so also dynamically different in so many different things as well. Like anyway, I think that's amazing and awesome. And so as we're coming into week 6, no, the truth is, as you're continuing down this path, like your bad habits, your obstacles, your struggles, they're going to continue to show their hand, is the truth of the matter. And you're going to keep finding out what stopped you. You're going to find out your obstacles that have stopped you dead in your tracks, that have caused you to quit, that have caused you to be frustrated. They're going to keep showing their hand as long as you're looking for them. And as long as you make the choice to, you will continue to overcome them, versus in the past, we've been overcome by them. And so I really want you guys to be on the lookout of, where are those bad habits trying to pop up? Where are there obstacles that are trying to stop you or that have stopped you in the past? And when you are aware of them, they lose their power. When you're aware of the obstacles or of the bad habits, they no longer have the same power over you. And you're going to continue to build your willpower muscle. You're going to continue to build your consistency muscle. And as you do that, it's just going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. My willpower muscle today is so much stronger than it was. But with that being said, listen, in the very beginning, I was very aware that my willpower muscle was a little tiny pipsqueak, a little baby. It was growing. So today, yes, I have no problem being at a party with lots of food. I have no party being in my home with my husband eating fast food. I have no problem sitting at a fast food restaurant across from him with him eating and me having a bar or water. But that's today. So don't be silly with the positions you're putting yourself in. And if some of y'all need to have a talk with your spouse, if they're not honoring that, because currently your willpower muscle is a baby. It is little, you're strengthening it. And if your spouse is still eating all the stuff in front of you, maybe there needs to be a conversation that needs to be had. Don't be silly with the positions you're putting yourself in. Don't expect yourself to be someplace you're not yet. An alcoholic, somebody who's recovering from alcoholism, eventually can be around it. But in the very beginning, they're not. Why? Because it's putting themselves in a position they're not strong enough to handle yet. And so there were lots of times I had to have a conversation with my husband of, babe, I'm not there yet. It's okay if you eat it, but please don't make the jalapeno poppers on Super Bowl for when I'm around. Please don't make them. It's putting myself in a position where I can't resist. That's just silly. Please don't expect me to buy you Valentine's Day candy. Please don't expect me to put myself in a position that I'm not ready to be in yet. It doesn't mean you won't be there someday, but I just really want you guys to be aware of where you're at and be honest with where your willpower is currently, and then having those conversations with those around you, because they might not realize where you're at. And so it's up to us to be honest with what our current struggles are, where we're currently at, and communicating to those around us that I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not whatever. And here's the other cool thing. Every single week, do you guys realize this? Every single week, you're getting closer to your goal. Every single week, the percentage, how much you weigh is going down. Your body fat percentage is shrinking. The amount of fat clinging to your body is shrinking. Every week, your fat cells are like, I'm melting. Every week, we're getting closer to your goal. And I think you really, truly, every one of you is doing amazing. And I know I tell you this, and I'm going to keep telling you this. You're going to hear it so much that you actually start to believe it. You really are doing amazing. And I am so beyond proud of you. $175.7 pounds down. This group of 7 people in the past 6 weeks have lost 175 pounds. So freaking crazy. And the thing I love the most is that they're real people. They are real everyday people with struggles and obstacles and battles. And they're refusing to let that keep them stuck. They're refusing to let that stay their identity, to let that stay their normal. They're busting out of their normal. They're busting out of what they've known. They're busting out of their comfort zone. And in some cases, they're getting into places they haven't been in years. They're beating habits and obstacles that have kept them stuck for decades in some cases. And so I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope that you're seeing through them. I hope you're being inspired. I hope you're seeing that no matter how long you've struggled, that you don't have to stay stuck, that there is a way and there is hope. And thank you for watching. Thank you for encouraging. For those of you that have subscribed and joined our growing community here on YouTube, ring the notification bell. For those of you that are here, smashing that freaking like button, that's that little thumbs up button, smashing that, spreading the story, sharing it on your social media platforms. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being an encouragement. Thank you for helping to spread inspiration, which is something that our country, our cities, our states need. The population, our fellow mankind, we need inspiration. Sometimes we just need to be reminded that we don't have to stay stuck, that there is hope. And that's what these 7 people are doing. So thank you so much for watching. We will be back with another episode next Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, make it a great week on purpose, and we will see you then.